Hi, and welcome to the JETS Jets show. I am Sean, your host. I'm back with another episode today on the second day of free agency. Going to recap the two big moves the Jets made today, beefing up the secondary with safety Jordan Whitehead on a 2-year, $14.5 million contract, just over $7 million a year. Love that move. And then also DJ Reed at corner, a 3-year, $33 million contracts for DJ Reed. Now, I think they're great moves. Like I had said yesterday on the last show, I don't expect JD to break the bank on a lot of these guys. I think Tomlinson was probably the biggest move you're going to see here in free agency. Outside maybe a pass rusher like Zadarius Smith, who I really, really like and I think would fit in this defense really well. That's the only guy right now I could see them really making a huge splash at. They may go with some other big-name veterans, but guys that aren't really necessarily in their prime right now, like a Bobby Wagner or something, that would fill a huge hole and prevent us from having to use a draft pick on a linebacker because we definitely really need another linebacker. But let's start by talking about the secondary first. I like the Jordan Whitehead contract. I mean, $7 million a year for a starting caliber safety that can do a lot of things well. He may not be spectacular at any one thing, but he can do a lot of things well. Which is really important in this solid defense. I think that's going to be a huge benefit for the team. Huge, plus to be able to rotate the two or multiple safety packages and have guys be able to do a lot of different things. So the offense, can't really guess of who's going to be dropping back into coverage, who might be blitzing, who might be covering a tight end, or playing center field, playing free safety, what have you. So it really gives the defense a lot more options. When you have some guys in the secondary that can do a lot of different things, it creates a lot of flexibility. A lot of things that the Jets couldn't do last year. I saw some articles about how they didn't have as many options in their secondary that they would have liked to in order to shake up coverages and play calling a little bit more. To surprise the other team because they didn't have the personnel to pull those coverages off. So, I'm really excited about that. I still think we're going to need to draft a young safety to kind of round out that safety room. Obviously, Whitehead's only on a 2-year deal. Joyner's on a 1-year deal. They're going to be. I think they're going to be solid players. But you're going to want at least one guy that you could build the safety position around longer term. So I do think we're going to draft a safety. Moving on, DJ Reed, honestly, didn't know too much about him before today. He was completely off my radar. Did look at some film today on him, look up some information, some stats. I think he's a solid player. Obviously, this defense doesn't put a ton of emphasis on the play of the cornerbacks. It's all about the front seven, all about the pass rush, controlling the line of scrimmage and everything like that. So I wouldn't expect them necessarily to pay big money for a free agent corner anyway. When you're talking about $15-16 million a year, it looks like Carlton Davis got $15 million a year. Now, that being said, I do think $11 million APY for DJ Reed is a little. I think they overpaid a little bit. That seems a little bit high to me. I mean, obviously, I don't know what else is out there, what other teams offered, but it does seem a little bit high to me. Does this preclude them from drafting a corner in the draft? No, not at all. He is not, a number one lockdown corner for the next 5 to 8 years. Like maybe a Sauce Gardner. Love sauce. Hot sauce. Cookie with hot sauce. He's one of my favorite prospects in the whole draft. So, I don't think it precludes us from getting a Sauce Gardner. That being said, I like these moves they're making. What I see happening over the next few days is I do see them bringing in a free agent wide receiver. Maybe not a top-end guy like an Allen Robinson, but I do see them bringing in another wide receiver. I see them bringing in a linebacker, um, an edge rusher, whether it be a veteran on a 1-year deal or just a kind of middle of the road professional, just real pro type player that is maybe a superstar. Um, somebody on a 1-year contract, like maybe a JPP or Justin Houston, would be good options on a 1-year contract. And I do see them bringing in a defensive lineman as well. So to recoup that linebacker, defensive tackle, or interior defensive lineman, somebody on the edge, and a wide receiver. And maybe even some better, extra depth pieces on the offensive line. You can never have enough depth at any position on this roster. We're going to be purging a lot of the back end of this roster and kind of bringing some fresh blood in. And what I like about Jody's strategy is he's not going big in a couple positions and leaving a lot of other holes. I think what he wants to do is fill the roster and the starting lineup with guys that can really fill the hole. They're starting caliber players. Not all of them may be stars. Like I said, Lincoln Tomlinson, definitely a phenomenal player. He's probably the top end of what we've got so far and what we're probably going to get the rest of this offseason. But what I can tell you is what he's doing is when he plugs all these holes with starting caliber players in free agency, you go into the draft and you have all the options in the world are completely open to you. So, you could go with a corner. You can go with a defensive end in the first round. You can go. I mean, if you wanted to trade down, you get great value. You can get some more picks. You can do that as well because you don't have a major hole. Anywhere on the roster, you have players that could get the job done. Yeah, they might not be the superstar that you want. For instance, I really would love to have a dominating pass rusher and a dominating wide receiver. But if you're picking, at 4, and you don't like the pass rushers that are there at the time, a couple of the top guys, maybe Walker, Thibodeau. I mean, let's even say Walker, Thibodeau, and Hutchinson all go 1, 2, 3. You're probably not going to pick a defensive end there. I think 4 is a little too high for Jermaine Johnson. Maybe they're not crazy about going corner now that they signed DJ Reed. Maybe they want to give him and the young guys a chance, since they don't put a lot of emphasis on the corners in the defensive scheme anyway. Maybe they don't want to spend that pick on Kyle Hamilton. I love him. I don't think he's a number 4 pick, especially on a team that needs to build up talent at other positions as well. It's not a premium position. Maybe they decide to trade down because maybe there's not a wide receiver either that's a top 4 pick in their eyes. It gives you that flexibility, though, filling a lot of those holes. I do think they're going to have to get a major contributor at either linebacker or defensive tackle. And when I say that, I don't know how many defensive tackles are left out there, but they don't have enough premium draft picks to cover, I think, the positions they need to at this point. They're going to need to draft a wide receiver, tight end, running back. They're going to need to draft another safety, probably another corner, definitely a pass rusher. So then, if you could fill one of the either defensive tackle or linebacker holes with a really good free agent, I think then you've created a complete home run in free agency. You're set up perfect for the draft because you can really fill every hole you need. Have the young talent and the veterans to complement that. He's gotten a little bit older this year and got some more veteran guys. He wants to kind of build, the roster off of the momentum of the young guys. Last year, they got their experience. Now let's bring in some veterans to compete, lead this team, take this team to the next level. So love to see what they've done. Great moves today. I'm looking forward to some more. Love how they started with the most important position on the offensive line and now have come back to getting some solid players on that defensive secondary. Let's see where they go from here. I'm expecting, like I said, wide receiver interior defensive line, linebacker, potentially a pass rusher. That's where I see them going. They can still clear a bunch of cap room. They haven't cut anybody yet. They can cut Rankins. They can cut Greg Van Roten. Ryan Griffin's still under contract. They can cut all those guys. So they could also do some restructures. They can always try to restructure McGovern's contract. They can restructure probably C.J. Mosley's contract and get some money, some more money, and some more flexibility there. So let me know what you think in the comments about free agency so far, and let me know what you guys expect going forward. What do you think, Grayson? Are they having a good offseason so far? He's speechless. That's how good he thinks it is. Anyway, it was great talking to you guys. If anything major pops up later this evening, I will check in with you. Otherwise, let's see what happens tomorrow. Till then, peace.